book collection. If you guys want to check any of these out, I will link them all down below. I also have a Goodreads account if you guys want to friend me on there. It tells you what I'm currently reading, what I've read already, as well as the books I want to read. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nay. If you're new, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. So today's video is going to be my book collection video. I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of my favorite self-help books, fiction books, and the books that I'm currently reading. I just recently started actually collecting books. I used to buy books like occasionally here and there when I was younger, but throughout all of college I actually used the library, and I would like put books that were more popular on hold, and sometimes I'd wait like months and months to even, you know, get my hands on the book to read, but I never actually bought the book just because I didn't really have enough money to actually buy the book in college. So I kind of just started accumulating the books that I've been reading, and I really do want to kind of make a library of books. I love books and they just bring me a lot of joy. If you can't tell, I have my little Just One More Chapter pillow. I actually got this on Amazon. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave it linked down below. But let's go ahead and jump into the video because it's going to be a pretty long video. Should I do self-help books first or should I do fiction? I think I'm going to do fiction because I always talk about self-help books in my videos, so I'm going to start with my fiction books. So the first one I have here is The Couple Next Door. I literally read this in 2 days. One of my favorite books even to this day. There are so many twists and turns. It's not just like one big twist, it's like twists and turns throughout the whole entire book. I honestly didn't even know what the ending was going to be. I kept changing my mind throughout the course of the book, and I literally could not put it down. It's basically about this girl and this guy. They're actually at a dinner party and there's like a crime. They go back home and their baby is missing. And there's lots of like secrets. It's really, really good. I really highly recommend this book if you're into like mystery. It's a really easy read. It's really small. Actually, it probably could be one of the top 5 books that I've ever read. I really like this book. So the next book I actually read in high school. Again, I read it pretty fast, and that is The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. If you guys watch the movie with Miley Cyrus, I used to be obsessed with Miley Cyrus, like Hannah Montana years. I've actually been watching Hannah Montana recently again. I don't know, I just put it on at night when I'm sleeping. This book is so good. Get ready to cry. This is the first book that I ever actually cried from reading. It is so sad, but it's a good love story. It's a really good summer read. It's about this girl, Miley Cyrus, who like gets sent off to her dad's for the summer, and she's kind of like a bad rebel kid, and she finds out something about her dad, and it's so good. This is actually, I'm gonna say this about every book, I swear to God, but this is one of my favorite books ever. I kind of want to reread it again. So like I just said, I'm probably gonna say it multiple times throughout this video, but this is also a really, really good book. I read this one in 2 days when I was in high school, and that is The Help. So it's about racism and the help that was in the South. I don't even know, this could be a true story. It takes place in 1962 in Jackson, Mississippi, where like racism was still super relevant, and this girl who Emma Stone plays ends up writing a book about the help, but she gets the help's perspective on things, which is like not good, and I'm pretty sure it was like illegal back then, and she went through so much risk to do it, and it is such a great book. Like literally, it's funny, it has humor in it, there's also really good you know, storylines in here, and it's just a really good book. I again was obsessed with this when I was younger. I never really read that often, but I read this book in like 2 days. I also did a project on this book. So the next one on my list is In a Dark, Dark Wood. This is a kind of creepier fall time book. It's a mystery again, and if you guys know the book The Woman in Cabin 10, it's the same author, Ruth Ware, and Reese Witherspoon actually has this on her book club list or whatever. I liked this book. It's about like this girl who goes to a bachelorette party. Someone pulls a gun at the bachelorette party. It's like a mysterious who shot who kind of book, and I liked it, but it wasn't, it's not on my top 10, but it's definitely a good mystery book for like the fall time. So the next one on my list is A Man Called Ove. This is a really good book. It's about this kind of like grumpier old guy who gets like these neighbors who are like a family oriented, and he's like lived in this, you know, town for so long, and like it's kind of changing and growing to be like family, and he likes rules and structure. And it reminds me of like Up. If you guys watch that Pixar movie called Up, I love Up, but it's basically like kind of same old grumpy old man. It did take me longer to read this book. It wasn't as interesting and like not really a page turner, but I did really like it, and it just was a really good feel-good book. Yeah, he just learns to kind of be gentle and like appreciate people, and yeah, it's a good book. I recommend it. So that one called In a Dark, Dark Wood, this is also from the same author, Ruth Ware, and this is a really good one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a movie. It's on Oprah's book list, it's on Reese Witherspoon's book list, so I was like, I'm gonna get it. Again, it's kind of on the creepier side. It's about this girl who like goes onto this yacht or whatever, and she like sees someone, and then she like never sees this person again throughout the whole time she's on the ship, and she's like, I don't know where she went, I think someone murdered her, like all this stuff. And it's pretty good. There's like some twists and turns in it, and out of a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably rate it like an 8, a solid 8. It's a good book. So one of my, again, favorite books is Big Little Lies. This is actually an HBO series with Shailene Woodley. Oh my god, what's her name? What is her name? Shailene Woodley, Reese Witherspoon, oh, and Nicole Kidman. It's a really great book. I read this again in like a week. You question the book every single time you read it. Like every chapter you think a different scenario. It's basically like someone dies. The beginning of the book describes like the crime scene, and then it goes back into these 3 girls' lives, and you kind of have to figure out like who killed who and who died. And you don't find out till the very end, but the whole time you're like changing up people. It's just a really great book. It's a really good series too. If you're not a reader, I really highly recommend to watch the series, and I like the book better, obviously. I always do. This is definitely on one of my top 5 or top 10. We should probably just label it like top 10, because I'm going to be saying that like literally every book. But this one is a really, really good one. I swear, it's so good. So the next one that I have here is The Cellar. I got this one 2 falls ago. I wanted something creepy and scary for like Halloween, and it's basically like this girl who gets kidnapped by this guy. It's just creepy. Like when she gets kidnapped, he like knew her name, and she kind of goes throughout like the kidnapping, and it's really sad, scary, and creepy. It's a good like Halloween book. So the next one, I know is gonna get some controversy because of the whole movie situation, but that is A Dog's Purpose. I loved this book. It's like a reincarnation for dogs, and it talks to you in the dog's perspective and what humans bring to the dog, as well as what the dog's purpose is to bring into the human's life. It goes through the whole life of the dog. He gets reincarnated and then reincarnated, but it's the same soul of the dog. And I know that the movie got a ton of controversy because they like abused the dog or something like that. But the actual author had nothing to do with that. So I feel bad for him, because he really is an animal lover, and the fact that his movie was like, you know, had controversy around animal cruelty and stuff, it really was a shame, because the book was a really good book. So I really recommend this book. If you liked Marley and Me, you'll like this book. So another one here that I have is The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. This one's really good. It's about this girl. She like reinvented herself, and she has like the best life, and she goes back to high school because someone is doing like I think it was like it's been a while since I read this one, but I'm pretty sure it was like an interview or something for something like some event that happened at school. Oh yeah, I remember. This one is kind of slow in the beginning, but when you get to the good chunk of like what happened at the school, you're like, holy, it's so good. Again, I think it's on Reese Witherspoon's list. Anything on Reese Witherspoon's list, like I read. Like she has a really good taste. Oh, and it's a soon to be film, so I would read it before it becomes a film. So then also I have here, still here kicking, a story about surviving cancer by Carl Dixon, my grandpa. He actually passed away, but he's my mom's dad. And he's like the most gentle soul. He is like a southern guy. I don't even know if you can even buy this anymore, but I can try to find a link. It just talks about like how he grew up and Christianity with cancer and how to deal with cancer and still like keep up your belief in, you know, God and stuff. And I just wanted to throw that in here to give him some props. It's not a fiction book, obviously. I should have put it in like the self-help book section, but yeah, it's a good one. He talks about like how he grew up in the South, and it was pretty crazy. Like, so obviously I can't do this book collection without my Harry Potter collection. I started reading this last year, like the series. I watched the first, second, and third movies when I was younger, but I've never actually read the books. Once you start, you can't stop. It grasps you and like takes you into like a whole nother world. It really is a whole nother world, and you just feel like you're engulfed in that world when you're reading the books. My favorite one out of these would have to be the second one. Even the movie, I like the second one the best. It's just really heartfelt and happy, and I really like the characters in that movie and the book. It's just a really good one. So the ones that I'm currently reading right now is the last Harry Potter book. I'm reading the Deathly Hallows one. And I'm on page 120, but I still have a good chunk left to go. But I'm really enjoying that one. And then one that I just picked up today is Infinite Possibilities, The Art of Living Your Dreams by Mike Dooley. This one is all about like the law of attraction and stuff and manifesting. I just read through the first chapter, and it was basically about, can you manifest for other people? Like, do you manifest bad things? Like it kind of goes to the nitty-gritty of the law of attraction, of all those like what if questions that you have. It's like manifesting your desires, opening your heart, very spiritual, and how to like best use the law of attraction. Oh, he signed it for me too, by the way. How sweet was that? The chapters are thoughts become things, beliefs, blessed emotions, life is waiting for you, gifts from heaven, magical universe, the elixir of life, abundance, health and harmony, relationships, tools and techniques, questions and answers, and the meaning of life. So I'm really stoked to start getting into that book. Pretty good so far. Now I'm gonna do my self-help books. First one I have here is Zoe Ariel's Love the Out of Yourself. These are just like little cute affirmations that you can open up. I sometimes will just randomly open it up and find which one the universe was speaking to me that day. So today it is, I work quickly and efficiently, but she breaks them up for everyday situations. So there's one for positivity, relationships, wealth, dating, work, meaningful friendships, procrastination, specific goals, and achieving your dream life. It's really cute to just have in your purse if you're ever feeling down or something. She sent this to me and she's like the sweetest. So thanks, Zoe. So the next one I have here is the 4 Agreements. These are the 4 agreements to live by to live a peaceful and happy, fulfilling life. It's a wisdom book. The 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. It's definitely a really great book. I've talked about this before, so I'm not gonna talk too much into it, but it's really a great self-help book, especially if you're a beginner in self-help books. It's a kind of a smaller book, and it's an easy read. The next one I have here are Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. This one was recommended to me by a professor. It's all about how the female brain and the male brain are different, the science behind that, and like why men act a certain way versus why girls act a certain way. And one of the examples was like women, when they're stressed, we tend to talk and like let it out, whereas men, they hide in their cave, they like to like get away and just, you know, take a step back. Little things like that, and also how men can only focus on one thing at a time, whereas girls' minds, we can do multiple things at once. How to better understand the different genders. And I liked it. It was a bit repetitive, and I also think it was a little bit outdated, but it was a good book with lots of good information if you're into like the science behind the women versus the men's brains. You guys already know this, I'm not even going to say that much about it, but Eckhart Tolle's The New Earth, one of the most mind-changing books I've ever read in my life. It talks about consciousness, being present, and, you know, all that fun stuff. So not going to say much on this. I've literally talked about this in multiple videos before. Really great book. I have You Are a Badass. Again, I've talked about this multiple times. She kind of gets your together, for lack of better words. You can read all these self-help books that help get you motivated and inspired, but she makes you actually go and do stuff. I love this book. It's definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite law of attraction book. I've also mentioned this in my other videos, and that's The Magic of Thinking Big. This was my first ever self-help book. It was a easy read, but I like the way that he organizes. The chapters are really good. This is a really good way to kind of go after your dreams and not be afraid to, like, you know, think bigger than, you know, what you're used to thinking. It helps like block limiting beliefs and stuff like that. I just really like this book. So I have a girl code here. Again, I've talked about this. I read this in 2 days. It's a really simple read. It's really small too, and just talks about like the girl and the female entrepreneur, how to be happy, how to deal with jealousy, how to go after your dreams being a female, that kind of thing. It's a good book if you are female and looking to start some big goals of yours. I also have A Case for Christ. One of my best friends actually told me about this book. It's basically a case case, literally like a law case against Christ, like evidence-based, like was he real, his history, about the Bible, and they kind of create a case against Christ. If you're a jury and you're listening to this case, it's up to you to decide, you know, like what it was real about Jesus, what was not, and like, was he really the Messiah, things like that. And it was a good book, but again, I think it was a little bit biased. I've mentioned this again in my vlogs, but if you're interested in that, it's a really great read. I have here the 5 languages of love. So this one's really interesting because everyone has a different language of love. There's like 5 of them. So the 5 languages are words of affirmation, so like verbally speaking it, acts of service by like, you know, making dinner or, you know, opening the door for somebody, receiving gifts, which is like, you know, the physical action of like giving gifts, obviously, quality time, and then physical touch. And each person has a different language, and it goes through each language and like how to better serve them. If you like physically don't understand, like for me, receiving gifts to me doesn't show me love, but I can better understand for people who do see love as that way, as receiving gifts, I can better understand and relate to them and show them love through their way of, you know, expressing love. It's a good, interesting book. It's a smaller book, but yeah, I really like this book. I have the 4-Hour Workweek. I actually didn't finish this book because it was a bit lengthy, and I got it when I was in college, so I only read through like a little bit of it, and I really liked this book, but he has one big concept of the 4-Hour Workweek, like his secret, and he talks about it throughout the whole entire book. So it's basically like beating the system, and I don't want to say too much about it because it's literally like the summary. I could say the summary of this book in literally one sentence, but it was a little bit repetitive, and it really goes in depth, and there's like some exercises and ways that you can like budget your money and stuff like that, and graphs. And it's good if you are looking to escape that 9-to-5 job and you don't really know what to do in life. You like know that you don't want to work a 9-to-5, but you don't really have a passion or anything, and you kind of want to still make a lot of money, but there's nothing that's really driving you. I would really recommend this book because it explains kind of how to beat the system and how you can make a lot of money and travel the world and work 4 hours a week. And then I have here the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Blank. This is like You Are a Badass, but it's more no BS. If you're into like cut and dry facts, I would recommend this one. If you're more into the inspiration pushing, I would recommend You Are a Badass, but this one is really good too. I completely forgot about a whole nother section of my books, so just give me a second, hold on. Alright, so these are like more of my prettier books that I have out, which is why I forgot them, but that is A Wisdom of Sundays. And you guys know about this. They're Oprah's aha moments. I've mentioned this multiple times. I'm not going to go through it again, but this is a really good spiritual book. I also have Kristen Cavallari's Balancing in Heels. I'm obsessed with Kristen Cavallari. She's like just so not like The Hills. I know she's like plays a bitch on The Hills, but she's like her whole lifestyle is really about healthy cooking and happy living and organic and good quality ingredients and stuff. And this one goes throughout like her workouts, her fitness, and all that stuff. And she actually has a cookbook that just came out. But yeah, it's a really good book. I just really like her, so it was interesting for me. I also have the Magnolia story, Chip and Joanna Gaines. There's nothing really else to say. They're just amazing. They live in Waco, Texas. If you guys don't know who they are, they have like the most beautiful family. They have a show on HGTV called Fixer Upper where they fix up people's houses. Her style's impeccable. He's hilarious. They live on a farm with like 5 kids. I know she's pregnant now. They're just like the cutest couple, and this is like their story. I also have Kate Hudson's Pretty Happy. Again, I've mentioned this book in multiple videos. She talks about the 4 pillars that help you feel happy and abundant, and that is cultivating an intuitive relationship with your body, eating well, awakening your body, and the miracles of mindfulness. So she talks about like a ton of stuff, and it's a really pretty book. There's recipes in here, you know, there's secrets of how she stays happy and some of her tough times and stuff like that. And I really, really like this book because it wasn't really just only about her. It was about like how you can also live a happy life, and it wasn't just like her lifestyle. And then also I have Christie Brinkley's Timeless Beauty. This is like her anti-aging secrets, like food, health, makeup. There's recipes. Again, it's kind of like the style of Kristen Cavallari's book. This girl right here, she's like 60 something. Like she literally looks like she's, I want to say 20s, 30s. Like So I was like, hell yeah, I want to know her secrets. So these are the books that are on my list to read next. I also have a Goodreads account if you guys want to follow me or friend me on there. I'll friend you guys back. It tells you what I'm currently reading, what I've read already, as well as what the books I want to read are. So these are the books that I want to read that I physically have right now, but there's a ton more on my Goodreads account. The first one is The Happiness Equation, How to Be Happy. I've heard really good things about this book. I also have The Secret, The Magic. This is a more day-to-day guide on how to use the law of attraction. So I want to use this like when I have time to vlog it. I'm definitely going to vlog that experience. I have Adventures for Your Soul. This is 21 ways to transform your habits and reach your full potential. And then I also have 2 more Mike Dooley books, and that is Life on Earth, Understanding Who We Are, How We Got Here, and What May Lie Ahead. And then Playing the Matrix, which is a program for living deliberately and creating consciously. So I guess there's like some system that he uses. I'm really interested in that one. That one's gonna be my next one, but yeah, that is my book collection. If you guys want to check any of these out, I will link them all down below. If you guys read any of these books, definitely tag me and let me know so I can see. If you guys have any more book recommendations for me, let me know. I am looking for more fiction style books. I have a whole list of self-help books that I want to read, but I really want to know some more good fiction books, ones that are like page turners that I can't put down. I hope you guys all have an amazing weekend, a good Friday, and I will see you guys all in Monday's vlog. Bye guys.